be forced to actually develop yourselves and know about almost every other thing to say you're a proper tech individual. So my name is Daniel Obasuyi. I'm a software engineer. Some people like to say senior, junior, blah, 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 but I'm a software engineer. So I'm not too concerned about the titles. Just pay me the money where the money is necessary. Title does not bring the money per se. So, and that's just by the way. I major in front-end development, and although I also do mobile and a bit of back-end, and yes, I also do WordPress development that's using CMS and Shopify and all that. So, but currently, on the larger scale, I would say I have been on the front end bit longer, and most of what I do as of today is more of on the front end bit. And my stack or the framework I utilize for front end is Angular, although I have knowledge of React. I started as a React developer before, as mentioned earlier, it's a career path before career required that I also learn Angular. And here I am today, majoring in Angular. So, and such will be the case of most of you. You go from React to Angular to Vue, from Vue to, so you will end up settling for one, especially one that would most likely pay the bills. And so tonight's section is mostly going to be focusing on mentorship and how it is a necessity for you to go through this path you have chosen. So I did not primarily do a course like, because I am very, very tight. I had a slight notification to have this section. So you just pardon me for this slide that I'll be sharing. So, but it's just going to be a guide for all of us to use. Please confirm you can see my screen. Okay, good. Thank you, Mary. So the title, I could not get myself together to get the right title. But basically, the idea is to give you the need and why you need mentorship as you have chosen this path in front-end development. And so, yeah, the slide says, welcome to our mentorship section. And we're looking at mentorship as a powerful tool for growth in front-end development. Today we'll basically explore how mentorship can be help you transition in the tech industry. Expect to learn about the necessary keys and resources and how to set them achievable goals. So let's get started. Let's see how much we're able to cover within the stipulated time. So basically, what is front-end development before we go into mentorship itself? Front-end development focuses on the visual and interactive aspect of website and applications. So when we say front-end development, it applies to not just website development, it also applies to mobile application development. The larger skills of mobile application developers you see are regarded as front-end mobile application developers, although they do not like to hear that terminology. But that's the truth, because they work mostly on the front-end part. You would always be working with somebody called the back-end developer that develops the API you use in having access to data. And those guys deal more on the logic parts, and your aim is to deal more on the user experience part and optimize the application to ensure that the platform is stable, it's fast, and also the user experience is awesome. So key technologies you will certainly learn, and this key, that is why that is bolded, is because this is the center of the universe for you in front-end development. HTML, CSS, JavaScript. It's the foundation. And one of the things I learned early from those that mentored me is to learn my foundations. If you can be stable or solid in your foundation, you can survive anywhere. So if you learn HTML, CSS, JavaScript, let's take it again. So HTML is more like the skeletal form of everything you are doing on the front end. So I believe you already know that. So we'll not be dwelling too much on those parts. I'll just be telling you the essence of learning these things and becoming good at it. So which means you have to be rooted. So one of the key language or one of the terms that one of my mentors gave me then was you need to go deep first before you start talking about going wide. So going deep is you need to learn HTML well enough, you need to learn CSS very well enough, you need to learn JavaScript well enough. Then you now start talking about their frameworks, which is going wide. So for CSS, you have Bootstrap, you have Material UI, you have Tailwind, you have a lot of them out there that you are going to be working with as frameworks. JavaScript, you have Vue, you have React, you have Angular, you have Servlet. I can't even pronounce that. There are a lot of them. You have the one that is no longer entirely used as of today, which is jQuery, except for old application. So you get to work with them. But at the end of the day, the root is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So if you can learn HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, you are good to go. And when we say learn HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, we're not saying you have to become a master at it. In fact, when it comes to technology, there's no master. Everybody, whether you see somebody calling themselves a dev, senior developer, blah, 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 everybody in the tech space is a student till they choose not to do tech again. You would always learn. So as someone that is coming into the front-end development part or technology as a whole, you must have the set of a student. So you cannot know it all. And that is why most of the persons that do not go far in technology and all, especially when it comes to the space, is because of pride. So for those of us that are Christians, you hear that pride goes before destruction. So you find someone pick up a design. Let me say, for example, this occurs mostly with UI guys or graphics design persons. You say, who did this design like this? This is so nonsense of the person. How would somebody do like this? Then they will say, I can do better and then design. The truth is, there's actually no perfect design. And that is one of the things you also need to hold on to as a developer. There is no perfect solution. There is no perfect application. And this is one of the things that helps developers to be able to work together and continuously stay open. Unlike we have it with UI UX designers and all, they have more like they compete against each other. But as developers, you need to learn to collaborate. It's a skill that you will need along the line. Collaboration is very, very important, and that is how the development part of tech actually survives. It is based off collaboration. There is no you are better than me. And if you do that in development, you are just going to be ready to work alone. And so it's going to be a long journey. So back to the key technologies, it's very important that you take your time to learn HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And when we say take your time to learn these things, it doesn't mean that you have to learn it pali to pali. Learn the important things, learn the core part of the applications, learn the core part of these solutions. Okay, you understand HTML. HTML, there's almost every part of it that is necessary because whatever you do in HTML is an extension that you continue to use. And then you come to CSS. Once you have learned the necessary foundations, you do not want to wait till you become a master. So some persons will find CSS very, very troubling, while some will be able to pick it fast. But my advice for you is before you jump to start learning a CSS framework like Bootstrap and all, ensure that your CSS is solid. Take up challenges from Frontend Mentor and other design platforms that you can utilize. Look at UIs that you can replicate. Just play around it and show it to your mentor to guide you, to review. And one thing you want to also have at heart is that you should not run away from the red lines. As a developer, you don't want to run away from the red line. So when I say red line, if you're writing code, you see that when you have errors, it will be red, 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 red. It is actually in embracing the red lines that you become stronger, because there is no way you write code without having red lines. So have that at the back of your mind, that the red lines are not your enemy, that they are actually the key or the pathway for you to get to your destination. So don't run away from the red lines. When you fall and then stand up. So the one of the things I would also put out there is you want to fail fast so that you learn. So if you are waiting not to, if you are too being too cautious, then you might stay too long in a particular position. So you fall, you stand up. You fall, you stand up. That is how you go. So embrace the red lines and do not run away from those that are that you take as your mentor. And your mentor does not necessarily have to be somebody that is far above you. So there are three categories of persons you want to learn from, both as a developer and generally as life in life. You want to look at the person that is doing well in that field that you are looking up to. So you are looking at a successful person. That is one person, one category of person you can actually look up to or learn from. The second category of people that you want to pick up mentorship with is those that try to become what you are looking at becoming, but along the way they fell off. There are a lot of lessons you are going to be learning from those people, and those that did not even try at all, that could not even get there at all. You want to know why those people did not even attempt, what deterred them, and all those stuff. You see, those are the three stages that you go through in life, whether as a developer or anything you want to achieve. Those three phases and those three people will give you the knowledge you need. So for the first person, that's a which is the last person now, those that did not even start. You want to see why they did not start and take all the necessary information. Then, if you know that you're truly interested in this part, you want to ensure that you do not do what they did that made them to fail. Then, for those that fell along the pathway, you want to see how they fell off, what made them to fall off, how far did they get to, what mistakes, what steps they take that made them to fall off. And then for the person that was successful, we want to see what kept them in the game. One of the things that will keep you in the game is what brought you into the game. So this is very important as you go through your journey as a developer. So we talk about the key technologies, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and then you talk about the tools. So you are currently in a bootstrap section, but I would also recommend that you also have other supporting tools, but don't get caught up in a tutorial error. So use the bootcamp, what's it called? You have your lesson structure that has been given to you. Follow that flow to learn. So if they are teaching you HTML, let's say tables in HTML, you learn tables in class. You go online, go to YouTube, go to W3 School and every other place and learn about tables. Just learn about tables also to solidify your knowledge on tables. So the benefit of bootcamp is that you have a structured learning. So you are not learning scattered. So it is whatever the bootcamp has given to you as your order of content. You follow that. So it helps you to actually go progressively. So it takes you away from that falling victim of tutorial error. So which is one thing you do not want to be learning everything at the same time. So if you are learning tables today, ensure it is tables you are reading about. Read about everything you want to read about tables. Do not jump. So even if you are jumping, it should be that you are moving to the next topic, possibly responsiveness, for example. So if you are learning about responsiveness ahead of class, it should be because you want to learn about it ahead of class, not because you just want to learn. Because trust me, you would learn. There are a lot of things you would have to research and stuff like that, but do not get caught up in tutorial error. Get your hands dirty, and then get busy. Show projects, and most importantly, be with your mentors. So we talk about the tools, which are frameworks that you get to be utilizing: React, Vue, and Angular. Don't bother yourself about these guys too much, because the truth is, whatever one you get to learn in your bootcamp now, I want to believe it's going to be React. At the end of the day, if you're able to learn React, learning Vue will be easy, and also learning Angular will be easy. The only difference is you are saying one can be a room self-contained, while another one is two-bedroom. And so, but at the end of the day, they are just achieving the same thing. They are used for styling or working on the front end of the application. So it just also saves you the stress of writing a lot of JavaScript. And never forget that these guys are JavaScript. So it is very important that you take your JavaScript very serious before you start jumping on these guys. If you can solidify your knowledge in JavaScript, then learning these guys will be easy. Do not jump from HTML to React. Ensure that you go through to JavaScript before you come to start talking about the framework. The same thing I said earlier, do not jump from HTML to go and start using Bootstrap or Material UI or Tailwind. Ensure you learn CSS, because okay, Tailwind was not, let me take an example now. Tailwind was not a big deal or was not in existence, let me put it that way, at the time I was learning coding. Then it was Bootstrap, Material UI, and then Tailwind came into the game. And now everybody's talking about Tailwind. But at the end of the day, Tailwind is built off CSS. So if new technologies come in, just like we have Servlet or Svelte, I can't pronounce that guy. It's one framework I can't pronounce it in as a framework for JavaScript. If as it comes in, it's not difficult for me as a front-end developer to pick it up because I am already solid on JavaScript. So if I want to apply to a job now, maybe I just need quick cash and I see a job for, let's say, Vue.js, and maybe it's just a contract job for like 2 months or 3 months, I can take it up. I can apply for it and just put my JavaScript skills and put my Angular skills, then go and quickly pick up a crash course on Svet or something. I can't pronounce that guy. Oh, God. So I pick a crash course on that guy and I will be able to learn it and get a job on it. It's going to be easy for me because I already have a solid foundation in JavaScript. But if you do not have a solid foundation in JavaScript, maybe you want to learn React. To navigate this ecosystem will become a problem for you. And for my case, now I learned React. I learned JavaScript, then React. And my first job, I told them I was still solidifying myself in React. But when I got in, the CTO required me to learn Angular to develop an admin level dashboard. I've not even finished using React to develop normal websites. I should start building admin level dashboards with Angular. And I had to do this within 2 months because it was a startup. So, and if you are working with a startup, everything is fast. So it was really crazy. I was not sleeping. It was crazy. But I learned it at the end of the day. And it was easier for me to deliver that dashboard within that 2 months window because I already had foundation in JavaScript. So even when I'm disturbing my mentor, who was also knowledgeable of Angular, and it's not now that we have ChatGPT, whereby you can just easily, we didn't have ChatGPT, then Stack Overflow, and sometimes some of those issues, you see questions there without answer or Stack Overflow. So you are forced to look for somebody that can actually help you. So even when your mentor wants to help you to solve those issues, he needs to see the sign that you actually know what you are doing. So if he's going to unblock, he's just going to tell you that, okay, do like this, do like this. If I tell you do like this, I'm going to be telling you with the expectation that you already understand JavaScript. Because you will write it in a JavaScript way. After I write it in a JavaScript way, he will now clean it up and show me that this is how to do it in Angular. So assuming I'm not solid in JavaScript, I would have been wasting my mentor's time because he will not be able to sit down and start writing Angular code for me. And most likely, I would have lost that job. And crazy part is that job of me transitioning to Angular is what has kept me in the last 5 years in front-end development and using Angular. Since after I left that place of work, I have been working with the financial institutions after then. And for those of us that are coming in, the larger percentage of the banks that you are utilizing use Angular for development. Only very few utilize React. And it's not just banks. Almost every enterprise level organization you find yourself uses Angular for development. So, but React is mostly accommodated at mid-level organizations and startups. But when you're talking about enterprise level organizations, almost everybody uses Angular. React is becoming very strong. Same with Vue. In fact, it's a competition between React and Angular more, but Vue is also there. I've never written Vue, but it's a very simple framework because I have looked at it before, but I didn't find it necessary. So I've not looked at it. So I always play around React a lot and Angular. So I'm sitting down here. You see how long I've taken to talk about these tools. It's because this is what you need to survive in this journey. And you want to ensure that you learn your foundations. Trust me, if you can solidify this phase of your life as a front-end developer, you are good to go. If you learn this within the next 6 months, that's why also picking up a framework, because within 6 months you should be able to pick up a framework and you dedicate at least 1 to 2 hours every day to learning these guys, picking up challenges, you would be setting yourself up for the next 5 to 10 years. And it's not capped. I'm not capping. And now, when I'm saying 5 to 10 years, I'm telling you something, saying this, I'm using these keywords because I want to correct the notion of most persons that might be on this call that think that tech is a quick get rich quick scheme. That's not tech. You would actually be in this space for a while. Yes, there are those that will make it very early, get an opportunity that will be paying them massively. But whether you eat it big early, one thing is certain: if you stay on the path, you will certainly get the reward. You will be living beyond the average life. That is guaranteed. So continue as you continue to grow in the past, continue to develop yourself. You have already sorted your career path for the next 5 to 10 years minimum, and then you certainly know that if you can put yourself consistently also within those years, you're also paying more for. You're also sowing seed for another 10 years to settle yourself because tech is not going anywhere anytime soon. And by that time, you are not going to be learning only JavaScript or React or Angular. You will certainly be learning more. So you must have navigated to backend, start writing C Sharp, Java, and stuff like that, Node.js. So, but you are in front end, so let's talk about front end for today. Do not joke with these guys. That is why this is boldly written. Key technologies. This is your skeletal system, and you should not joke with it. If you need any help, utilize the advantage of your bootcamp which you have today. So understanding these fundamentals is crucial for your success in this field of soft front-end development. So that is a clear step. Now, what's the role of a mentor? A mentor is someone who guides you and supports you in your journey or in your learning journey. So basically, responsibilities of your mentor is providing feedback, sharing experience, just like what I'm doing today. I'm sharing experience and also guiding you steps that you can take. So, and helping to set goals. So there are a lot of persons that have come to me, oh, I want to switch to tech, I want to do this. And I'll just say, I don't know if any of you knows. You should know if you are on this call. You most likely would know this guy on YouTube, Brad of the Transversing Media. So I'll just, if you tell me you want to transition to tech, he has a lot of crash courses. So I'll just send you HTML crash course and also send you free code camp URL. If you come back to me after going through the video, I'll tell you don't do any of that and just look at HTML crash course, which is a 1 hour course or so. If you come back to me after that 1 hour, there is a high chance that you are serious with what you want to do. But the larger percentage of time, 99%, they do not come back. And that is just the truth. So this is where mentorship comes in. You want to mentor, if you are looking for someone that should guide you as a mentor, you must actually be sure that you are ready. And that's why I want to celebrate every one of you here tonight. That you're on this call and going through this program already clarifies that, okay, you are ready to navigate this path. But it doesn't mean that everybody on this call is actually going to remain in front-end development. And that is the truth. I have a lot of us that went through bootcamp together, HNG, code camp and all. We finished as finalists and all. But as a front-end developer, most of them have transitioned to DevOps. Some have transitioned to back-end development, and they are doing well in their respective fields. So for myself now, I'm here and there. So, but if I have the opportunity, I might eventually leave front end and switch to back end on a full-time business. But for now, I'm just still on front end and I'm still enjoying front end. So we don't know what the future holds. So what I'm saying is that for you being on this call, it has already guaranteed the fact that you have chosen the tech path. So That you start on front end does not mean you are going to end in front end. As mentioned earlier, you want to fail fast so that if you see that, okay, front end is not for me, you can switch and go and learn back end. If back end is not for you, you can switch and go and learn UI UX. If UI UX is not for you, you can switch and go. At the end of the day, you find your place. But if you are doing it as a quick get rich quick scheme, you will not be able to dedicate 6 months. Neither will you be able to dedicate 1 year. And anybody that is not ready to dedicate the next 6 months to 1 year of their life to learning in tech is not ready. And that is the gospel truth. If you are not able to finish a tutorial of 1 hour, trust me, there are tutorials that if you go on Udemy, you find courses that span over 20, 40 hours. And as you continue to grow, you will be forced to learn those things, especially to pick up new technologies very fast. So if you cannot sit down to watch a tutorial for 1 hour, then trust me, you are not yet ready for the tech parts. And apart from tutorial, we talk about documentations that you also have to read and all those stuff. So if you are not a reader, you're not somebody that is hungry to learn, the tech part is certainly going to be difficult for you. But if you are ready, maybe you just need encouragement here and there. This is where mentorship comes in. And that is why we're having this section tonight. A couple of other mentors must have come in and talked to you. You want to take advantage of these mentors that the program is bringing to you. But don't go there and be thinking that is every time you will call them, they will answer you. Right now, my second laptop is connected to a server that I'm trying to deploy something. We have a production fix that I need to deploy. So the only way that I will know you are serious is when I tell you, okay, do this. You're able to try something and come back and give, and I will know if you do not do it. That was the same way my mentor worked. So if I say, okay, do this, if you do not do it, I will know, because if you actually went to Google, there is a new information you will be getting. If you go to ChatGPT, you get a new information. So when you are coming back to me, you are coming back with that new knowledge. One way, whether it is scattered knowledge or not, you will certainly be coming with an information that indicates that I have actually made attempts to do this. And that is when I will now be willing to actually invest my time into you to guide you or possibly unblock you when you have a blocker. But when I say do this and I say, Alpha, did you do it? And you're giving MMM, I might help you that moment. But after that one, you have started reducing your value system. So it means, because for me, it's value. If you don't prioritize my time, it's Chris. It's not fair. I don't know the right words to use there, but you have to prioritize my time. So if I'm giving you my time, you should know that, I would prefer to sleep than waste it on somebody that is not serious. So that's basically it on that point. So a mentor is going to be somebody that is going to be guiding you, support you, give you necessary resources, help you. There will be times whereby you will tell you, okay, let's jump on a call, share your screen, let me help you resolve this situation. Your mentor is going to be there to guide you, but you yourself need to ensure that you show yourself as willing to learn. So how can mentorship benefit you in your journey? Basically, it's going to help you to move fast, because your mentors will be able to tell you that, oh, this thing you want to learn in JavaScript, learn it for learning's sake, because that's one of the mistakes we also do when we are learning JavaScript, CSS, and all. There are some things you just learn for learning's sake, not because you are going to use it. In fact, most of the time, some of the things you will learn in CSS, JavaScript, you might not use it for a full year or in a full project end to end. There are multiple projects that you might even do, and you will not use those things. So your mentor will tell you, okay, this thing, learn it just for you to know that it exists. However, if you need to use it, documentation is always there for you to go back to. So don't waste your time too much in trying to master it. That is where your mentor comes in, because he's already experienced. So he knows the things that you should not necessarily waste your time doing. But learning about maybe array methods in JavaScript now, you cannot escape using arrays, working on arrays. So it will tell you that take your array very serious in JavaScript. So these are little information that I get. If you see that you are struggling with a particular thing, the mentor gets to tell you that, oh, this thing you are doing, you do not necessarily need it, but you need this one. Focus more on this one. Put your energy on this one because this is what you would always utilize. So these are one of the benefits you get to have of having a mentor as you proceed in the journey. So talking about transitioning to tech, I just added these slides and subsequent ones basically to also help us as we proceed because we are all still fresh. Expectation is that most of us here are still very fresh. Transitioning into tech can be very, very challenging. As I mentioned, some of us can watch a movie for 2, 3 hours. In fact, a complete series of season 1, season 2, season 3, but you cannot watch a tech video of a crash course in 1 hour or 2 hours. Some of us in school, we only read to pass. But in tech, you don't just read to pass. You need to read to know it. And do not allow ChatGPT to spoil your mind. Let it just be an assistive tool for you. Don't let it replace your brain because you will find yourself in interviews or live coding sections. ChatGPT will not be there to help you at that time. So you need to practice by yourself to be able to go through this process. So one of the common challenges you encounter in transitioning to tech is imposter syndrome. And are you good enough? I'm not good enough. All of us face it. In fact, you will continue to face it in tomorrow. It's something you will continue to encounter. So, and that is why you can just go to YouTube. There are a lot of short videos that will talk to you about imposter syndrome that you want to watch, learn. And one of the things you would learn how to overcome this challenge is you have it already in the bootcamp. You want to come out, and the only way to show yourself that, to test if you truly know what you are doing is try to help people. So you are in a bootcamp currently. Somebody is having issues with their HTML tags or CSS tags. Be active, be participants. Let people know you as a solution provider. Even if you don't know it, send a Google Meet link to the person. Say, let us look at this thing together. Let us look at it together on ChatGPT, Google, and all. Let us solve this problem together. You are learning, and that person is also learning. And also, you are building yourself. You are also building weaknesses. So there are people who call weaknesses. For those in Christians who understand, who say we have weaknesses, counsel of weaknesses that can attest to the fact that you know what you are doing. So if you now find yourself saying, I'm not sure if I can do this thing, possibly you want to apply for a job, these guys that you have made as friends or you have helped will be there to always motivate you. In fact, some of them will be the ones to refer you to jobs or opportunities because you have helped them out. So imposter syndrome is actually killed on the basis of doing, by showing up. If you continue to show up, your evidences of results that you have will help you to overcome that fear of the fact that I am not good enough. So those are one of the ways that you kind of deal with that. Now, keeping up with rapid changes, trust me, it is going to be very difficult, especially as a front-end developer, to keep up with all the changes that we have. But as mentioned earlier, if you come back to our second slide, your foundations are CSS, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Don't bother yourself too much about learning everything in tech. If you are learning React, sit down with React. Don't bother yourself about Angular and Vue until you are sure that you are fairly good with React. Don't bother yourself. There are 1,001 solutions that are coming out every day. But you don't find institutions, enterprise level organizations jumping to it. The only platforms that you will see that uses new technologies are startups. And that is why most of them fail, because they want to use new thing. But enterprise level organization, when I say enterprise level organization, I'm talking about banks, talking about consulting companies, oil and gas and all. They do not jump at new technologies. They study the technology and see if the technology can survive 10 years, 20 years before they now jump on it. So make yourself like that. If you are learning anything, learn something that has survived. So even if you want to learn a new thing in tech, just learn it so that you are aware there is difference between learning something for awareness that, okay, you know this thing. So that in case somebody asks you about, oh, I've seen this. Yes, I heard about it. I watched a short video on it on YouTube. This is what it does. This is what it does. That's okay. You don't need to now go and start learning everything, going so deep in everything as it comes out. You are going to overwhelm yourself and you'll be caught up in tutorial hell. Because most times you see a lot of jokes on LinkedIn and all. The percentage of things that you will be needing to work with on the real job will be less than 50% of the things you know. In fact, most of the things you know, you will not use it in delivering projects. It is once in a while you'll be going to your database in your brain to bring those things out once in a while. But there are common things you must know in development, especially as a front-end developer, HTML, CSS, JavaScript. So once you already know those core part of those applications or solutions, you will be able to deliver or survive anywhere. So please, you want to be conscious of how you jump on new changes in the tech space. You want to keep up, but do not jump on everything. So be conscious of that. Now, finding the right resources. The boot camp that you are currently already puts you on the right path, and that is already guaranteed, put you on the path of success. And there are also other resources that you can utilize. You can use it, Udemy, YouTube, and we have ChatGPT, we have DeepSeek, we have Claudia, and all. So you can utilize these guys to guide you. It is you, if you are learning alone, that is when you will struggle to find the right resources. But now that you're learning from a boot camp, I believe you are in a safe hand to be able to escape this situation. It is as you now progress to now master, then you can now start going to YouTube to get paid courses and stuff like that for particular use cases. So basically, this is expecting me to share my experience transitioning to tech. Did I transition to tech? No, I did not transition to tech. I studied computer science, and I've always been in tech. In school, basically, I had my own cyber cafe. So I've always been in somehow in the tech space. I did projects. I built software solutions back then as school projects. But I did not develop coding seriously. I just did it then for the school business part of things. Now, fast forward later, I wanted to do photography, blah, blah, blah. Life will have it. I ended up as an IT support engineer. So my first career after NYC started from being an IT support engineer. I moved on to become an IT administrator, where I now got triggered to start learning coding. Because at that time, I now started seeing the kind of life that those that were learning coding were living. And as an IT support engineer, you have to be physically available every time to fix a problem. So it was stress. If you are not there, there's problem. So you cannot sleep in your house and things will be working. You have to always come to work and stuff like that. So I had to start learning coding, because with coding, I can work from anywhere. I can solve a problem from anywhere. So even though there were solutions in IT administration or as a system admin engineer, that there are some things I can still do remotely. But most times, your server and all those stuff, you have to be physically present to manage those things. So, and it was stressful for me, especially living in Lagos, having to wake up early and get home late and stuff like that. So I started learning coding. I got into Google developers, Google and Della developers scholarship. I got it, and that was where I got in for web development scholarship. Along the way, I also got in for HNG's and internship. And while in HNG, I heard about Code Camp. So I did both HNG, Code Camp, and Google within the space of a year, because the program is within that space. So I was juggling everything together while also working as a system administrator. So when they give me tasks, when I get home in the night, I will stay up from like 10, 11, 12 to work on it, because I have to go out again in the morning to go to work. So I was juggling it with work. I know it was not easy, and that is the truth, but I promised myself that I wanted to learn this, and I didn't want to take Google scholarship in vain because I know the cost of learning on Pluralsight because the platform for learning was Pluralsight. So they gave us resources to learn and all those stuff. And basically, because of the fact that I was learning on Google and I also had HNG. In HNG, you have people that are already working or already have knowledge of coding. So they give you, you get to mix with them. And these experiences helped me to build a connection. HNG then, they taught us that we should have each other's phone numbers and form more like your own Stack Overflow on your mobile phone so that before you go to Stack Overflow, if you have a problem, you can easily, first of all, post it on your status that I'm facing this problem. And somebody from HNG that you most likely have saved on your status, on your contacts, we see that thing and say, oh, I've faced this problem before. I can fix it for you. And the person will, you will send a Google Meet link and then they'll fix it for you. So it is going through HNG. I saw people that have also gone through the Google Developers Program. They started guiding me. I also got to join Google Developers Group, which I'm currently part of the organizing group for Google Developers Group AJA. I'm currently one of the organizers. As today, I've been since 2020. I've been part of the organizing team for Google Developers AJA, and that is based off that program. So I started forming a community of friends from HNG, Codecamp, and now Google developers. And this is how I started building. So even when I want to give up, I see persons that, oh, that must have completed their tasks. I ask them, how did you complete these tasks? And I proceed to go and do my own also. And most times, yes, we'll do copy and paste then, but I have to always, because I'm working, but that's not an excuse. But then I have to just first of all submit my tasks, but I will always go back to go and do that task again to learn the technologies and the skills. And I was able to successfully finish the Google Andela Developers Program. I got my certificate, and it was from the Google Developers Group that somebody posted that, oh, no, not somebody, one of the mentors on Google Developers Scholarship Program was also in the Google Developers Group. And he posted that somebody needs a front-end developer. I was still working as a system administrator, so I do not have a working experience as a front-end developer yet. I reached out to him and I told him that this is what I can do. And he said, okay, he will forward my CV to the CTO for that organization. And we had an interview. I explained to the CTO, I was extremely sincere that I have not worked as a developer before. This is what I'm currently doing. As you can see, my CV is strictly about networking. So, but this is the things I've been able to achieve in HNG. This is what I developed. These are the platforms that I developed. In Codecamp, this is what I developed. And in Google Developers, these are the things that I developed. I shared my repository and stuff. He asked me technical questions. I was able to answer them to the best of my knowledge. And that was how I resumed. So since 2021 till date, I have been actively in development. I transitioned away from networking. In fact, I don't do anything because in networking, you have to do CCNA, CCNP, CCNE or something. And you have to be doing all those certifications every 2 years and stuff like that. There's no time for rest. You have to always do. But in development, it's more of on a more flexible life compared to that. So, and that was one of the things that guided my decision to switch to software development. So it's been an awesome experience. But as I mentioned earlier, you need to embrace the red line. It is the errors in your code that will guide you or that will serve as the key to getting to your destination. The moment you're able to solve those errors, other persons might have been facing the same error, and you now say, oh, I've encountered this before, and you solve it for that person. Even if you do not know too much, but you were able to solve that particular thing, you have become a senior dev or an agba or something like that. So you understand? So if we go and that person will go and champion your case to another person and say, when this guy is very good, or he did this. And so before you know it, so you don't want to run away from challenges. Even if you don't know the thing, you tell them, oh, let's look at this together. There's no way it can be difficult. Some people have faced it before, they're able to survive. So if you cannot face it, solve it alone, we go online together. It's not a crime to tell someone in coding that I don't know it, but never end with saying that I don't know it. Always say that I've not faced this thing before, but let's look at it together. Let's find a way. There must be a way. Always hold that positive mindset to say there must be a way around it. Don't just say, I've not solved this before, I can't do it. In development or as a developer, you want to remove the keyword of I can't do it from your statements. There is nothing like can't or impossible in development. And as an IT person, there's nothing like impossible. Everything is possible to an IT person. The only thing is that if it is not yet done, what you lack is the knowledge of getting it done. It's not that it is impossible to do it. You only lack the knowledge of getting it done. So what you just want to do is find out online. Has anybody encountered this same issue? Has it been done before? Start finding ways. If there are people that have done something close, pick up those close things and start finding the loopholes and try to solve the problem. And at the end of the day, most of the times, you would always end up coming out successful. But you need to always have the mindset of it is possible. There is certainly going to be a way around it. And you sit down and find a way around it. And yes, that brings us to the fact that you must like research. You must be able to use Google. You must be able to use YouTube. You must join a lot of communities. I have a lot of IT communities I'm in. Some that I don't actively participate in anymore, but sometimes I just enter there and read. I am in WordPress Developers Group of Nigeria. I'm in Google Developers Group. I'm in a lot of boot camps that I also joined, online, offline, Telegram, and all. So you just scroll. Informations, opportunities are always posted. So you want to ensure that make sure your WhatsApp is like a repository for you to solve problems when you have any problem. It's not, don't let your WhatsApp just be for chatting. All those groups, utilize it, channels, utilize it. Let them be channels that are going to be helping you to be a better front-end developer, a better IT personnel as you progress. So we've taken a lot of time. It's technically 1 hour since we joined the section, so I'll just try to see how we can rush through the remaining slides. I hope the slides, the section has been informative enough. I am not so much of a teacher person, but I'm trying my best to be as detailed as possible. But let me just get feedback to be sure that we are together. So if you feel the section has been going fine, I just want to see our reactions. And if you have any comments, you can also you can raise your hand if you want to say something or you have questions, so you drop a comment on the chat so that we'll take advantage of the section. The goal is not to go through the end-to-end of this slide. The goal is for us to be able to get something tangible from the section. So the slide can always be shared, but as I mentioned, the slide is just a draft. So if you have any questions, you can always drop on the chat or you raise your hand if you want to speak, so that we'll just speak. And if you have comments, you can drop it on the chat. Okay. Please confirm you can hear me. I'm not seeing any feedback. Okay, thank you very much, Emmanuel. Thank you, Mary. Okay, great. So what are the key skills for a front-end developer? To succeed in front-end development, thank you, Elizabeth. To succeed in front-end development, you need a mix of technical or soft skills. You see, this guy is one thing. We'll be talking technical sense. But you see, this guy is more like is that thing that looks as if it's not important, but it's more like it's the most important thing. Almost more important than this guy in surviving as a career person. So in life as a whole, your soft skills will determine if you survive. Your technical skills will get you into the room. But you see this guy here, will determine if you will stay in that room or not. If you want to climb up the ladder in your career, you need this guy. If you want to start your career, you need this guy. Because along the line, you see that laborers, technical people, they are mostly at the bottom of the ladder. But as you climb up the ladder as a team lead, as a manager and stuff like that, this is what you need to climb up the ladder. You'll most likely not be writing too much code again. You now start supervising, managing, you'll be bringing ideas and stuff like that. This guy is what is going to help you to move across the ladder of your career or life. So as much as you are building this guy, you want to ensure that this guy is not neglected. Your people relationship, you need to be diplomatic in everything you are doing. There is bias everywhere and there is politics. And I like to say this, as a lady, please do not fall victim of the theory that it is because you are a lady, that's why they did not give you the job. That is an old knowledge. It is just emotional blackmail. There is nothing like that. In reality, there are males that do not get job just because they are short or their voice sounds somehow and stuff like that. So you remove that, detach yourself from your gender and focus on developing these guys. And you'll be guaranteed of moving across the ladder of your career. So please, especially in technical fields, you cannot escape or survive without these two guys. So please do not take them lightly. So what are the essential skills? Mentioned earlier, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and you want to be familiar with all the necessary frameworks and libraries. And very importantly, understand the deal of responsive design and user experience. This is very crucial for you as a front-end developer. Most of the applications you are going to be working on, the development you are going to be doing is going to be for the user. For me, in the last 2 years, I have been developing applications for admin level applications. I do not do customer facing applications that much anymore. So I mostly build dashboard level applications, more like complex applications. So, but as a starter, as you start in career, the most common project you find yourself developing is user facing applications. And your users will most likely, first of all, utilize your website or visit your website with their mobile phone. So you need to ensure you understand how to develop responsive designs. So you'll be taught about media queries when you start using CSS. Do not joke with media queries. In fact, it frustrates a lot of persons when they get to CSS. But it is not difficult. It is very, very simple. Trust me. It is just technical. And yes, as an IT person, you must be technical. So which means you must be rugged. You would always tell that thing that you are the one that will have the last laugh. So you have to be ready to learn media queries and master your media queries, because this is what you use to develop almost every responsive application you'll be working on. You are going to be using media queries. So learn media queries, and it's very important. So we talk about user experience. User experience is key. I mentioned earlier that you want to build applications that are optimized, that are not lagging. When somebody loads an application, when they are trying to scroll, they should not have moved their hand too much and then the application is still stuck in one place. Or you build an application that the images are blurry or not properly aligned and stuff like that. No. You want to build applications that, not for yourself, but applications that you know that when someone sees it, they will say, who is this person that did this? I need to meet this person, not on a negative note. So let your users enjoy being on your platform. And you need to let, so, and most of the times you'll be learning user experience when you start working with CSS. You talk about when a user over something, wants something to occur, but you want to also reduce the amount of animations, effects on your platform. Simplicity is very powerful. So don't over animate your website. Just do it on a need basis. So if the product does not need you to do too much animations, do not do too much, because when the platform is too busy, that's also a poor user experience. So, but certainly you'll be working with your UI UX engineers, and then they will give you all the necessary um, designs and expected user experience or user interactions for that platform. So you want to ensure that you master how to navigate Figma and how to look at their prototypes so that you can play around it and see how the screens interact with each other. So participation expected, what skills do you believe are crucial for front-end developers? These guys say are your key skills that you need as a front-end developers. Then I mentioned you should be ready to make research. So part of the research skills we're talking about problem solving. The number one thing as an IT person is that you know that you're a solution provider. So a side joke, if you tell somebody you're an IT person, whether you're a front-end developer, back-end developer, a soft support engineer or stores, if they have anything that is wrong with their phone or their laptop or whatever, they will bring it to you. It is because the assumption is that as an IT person, you are a solution provider. So anything that relates to IT, they will always bring it to your doorstep, thinking and believing that you can fix it. And as I mentioned earlier, never ever say, I cannot do it. Always say, okay, you will find a way around it. And yes, you must find a way around it. That is the mindset of an IT personnel. So now, you get to work with DOM manipulations using JavaScript. You use JavaScript to interact with your platforms and then you manipulate. JavaScript is the brain of your website. I don't want to go too much about talking about HTML, CSS because I know that is what you'll be going through and you'll be doing this technical section. So my primary focus for this section is to tell us the essential cause of why you need mentorship and why you need to solidify your knowledge in your foundations. So I will just wrap up in the next 3 minutes so that I'll take questions if we have any. And so that at least by 9:30 we can close out this section. So in the next 3 minutes, I will then close out this section so that I can proceed to the next. So motivations and goal settings. It is very important for you to set small and achievable goals. Don't put yourself and say, by the end of my boot camp, I will go and buy a house in Banana Island. It's a lie. Well, it might be true for some persons. There are persons that have finished boot camps and they were lucky, time aligned for them, and they got opportunities to be relocated abroad or got jobs paying them in USD, and then they are in Nigeria. So they were earning in hard currencies and while being in Nigeria. So anything is possible, but do not overestimate. Do not overestimate. You should set more achievable goals. If you want to work on a page, design a page, have a table, have an image, handle responsiveness, but do not put that you want to have a perfect working website as a beginner. No, allow yourself to fail. It cannot be perfect from the beginning. Allow yourself to fail. And once you are able to successfully achieve something, possibly you did not know how to do pagination before, and you now learn pagination in JavaScript, celebrate it. This is something that you never knew how to do 2, 3, 4 months ago. Now you now know how to use CSS. You know how to import fonts. You know how to style your fonts, your text, and all. You know how to center a div. In fact, if you can center a div using CSS, your shoulder should never go down, because centering a div is one of the most difficult things you will encounter as a front-end developer. Even after you have learned how to do it here, you would always encounter the struggle of centering a div as you proceed as a front-end developer. It's something, if you go online, just check centering a div. It's a joke. It's a general front-end joke that will make online generally. I have 1 more minute. So connect with your peers for support. As mentioned, take advantage of everybody you are learning together with in this bootcamp. Connect with your peers. Connect with the mentors that are going through this section and that you continue to encounter as you continue this program. Do not throw them aside. And last thing before I drop this is, I want you to learn publicly. So this is no longer in the era whereby you are learning, you are hiding and learning. One of the things that helped me was that I had evidences. When I started learning, Google forced us to do what is called 100 days of coding challenge. So you have to always post whatever you learned on Twitter, on LinkedIn, and Facebook and all, and tag Google and all everybody. So my social media accounts also grew within those periods, and some persons will start monitoring you and stuff like that. So my LinkedIn till date, I always get people coaching me and say, "Oh, we have a job for you. You'll be able to do these jobs and stuff like that." It's still costing tomorrow, and that is because I kept up with that 100 days of coding. So I did it to the last day. So learn in public, because you never can tell who is watching you. And trust me, someone is watching you. You might post day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, and nobody reacts. From day 6, day 7, day 8, day 9, day 10, somebody will start reacting, because most times some people want to see consistency. They don't want to see you starting. They want to see if you will continue doing it, especially in the tech space, because ability to do something continuously in the tech space is very rare. Most persons cannot continuously do and learn, especially in tech space. So if they find somebody that is able to stay at day 10, day 20 in coding, you are actually on the path to succeeding. So please do not learn in the hidden, learn in public. Post it on your WhatsApp status, whatever you are learning. Make friends, let people know that you have started learning coding. And from there, you start getting more knowledge, meet more persons. In fact, with that, you filter your friends. Because when you post about coding on your WhatsApp status, people that are interested in coding will start responding to your status. So with that, you start knowing the caliber of people that you want around you. Follow the necessary development-based channels on Twitter, on WhatsApp, LinkedIn, and all. Start getting and commenting on those platforms so that people start knowing that this is who you are and this is what you are doing. And trust me, it will help your journey to be faster in the tech space. When there is a Twitter space being done that is related to tech, join. If you can speak, request a mic and speak. Let them just hear your voice. Let them know that you are coding. People will follow you. One day, somebody will send you a message. You say, "Are you interested in this offer? There's something I need. I need somebody to. I have a project I'm working on, but I don't have time. I cannot finish it. Will you be able to finish it? Don't worry, I will guide you. Even if I will not be fully available to code. I just need somebody that will be that will do something while I support the person, and I will pay you while doing that." And that is how you continue to go. I've had opportunities like that. I had that in the course of progressing, and I am still getting that till date. You get persons that will collect project, they cannot do it. They are looking for somebody that will do it, or somebody that they will guide. So do not take learning in public for granted. So that's basically it from my end. And I think we spent a lot of time, so just give them for questions and answer. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining this section. I hope it has been as informative as possible, even though I'm not much of a teaching person, but I hope I've been able to pass the necessary 1 or 2 informations that will help you as you progress in your development as a field, as a front-end developer. Thank you very much, Mary. So if you have any questions, this is a good time to ask. And thank you very much to the organizers of the program.